everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Neca Universal Monsters TMNT Ultimate Casey Jones as the Phantom figure. So before we take a look at the Phantom, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with this real fabric cloak that has wire in it, and it looks very nice. It's done in this velvet type material, and it looks really good. As I said, it has bendy wire in it, so you can position it however you want to make it look really cool looking. I do kind of wish the wire would have ran through the back there, but it doesn't. But still, it looks really nice like that. Up next, he comes with a set of open grabby hands. Up next, he comes with a set of fisted hands. Up next, he comes with a set of goalie glove hands, and these look really nice. This left one is done in a red collar and has a nice brown wash over top of it, and then a skull painted on the back. And if you look, let me turn this the right way. If you look, the skull actually has a brown wash over top of it, making it look dirty. That looks very nice. Kind of reminds me of the one that Casey wore in the 2012 Turtles series. And then this one's painted just as well. So yeah, these are awesome accessories. The only downside is you can't fit any accessories in the hand because it's open like that. If it was a closed grip, you could actually get it holding the hockey sticks, but since they're kind of open like that, you can. Up next, he comes with alternate hands for holding the smaller hockey stick and the smaller hockey stick. The hockey stick itself has a very nice black wash to it, and the wrapping to the hockey stick is done really well. It's painted in black and has some very, very awesome texturing to it. It looks very nice. Neca did a really good job on these accessories. Up next, he comes with his larger hockey stick and another set of hands for holding this hockey stick specifically. And this one still has the black wash over top of it, but the wrappings on this one actually have a little bit of gray paint over top of them, and that looks really good. Neca did a really awesome job on that. Up next, you get his main head sculpt, and this is so creepy. Neca did such an awesome job on this. This is a very intense head sculpt. You can see his scarred skin there underneath the mask, the red skin there. He has a very, very nice wash over top of his mask, making it look very, very dirty. It kind of reminds me of Mick Thompson's mask from Slipknot. This looks really cool. He has some strands of hair hanging over his mask right there. You can see the strap on the mask painted onto the hair. His hair has a little bit of paint over top of it. That looks really good. I just love this head sculpt. This might be the best head sculpt out of all of the Neca Universal Monsters TMNT mashup figures. This looks good. Up next, he comes with an alternate skull head sculpt, and this looks amazing. When I first saw this figure, I actually thought this was a skull accessory for him to hold in his hand. But no, this is actually an alternate head, and this looks fantastic. The wash and texturing to the skull there looks very nice. The rotted teeth look very nice. On top of that brown paint, they also have a black wash over top of them. Although towards the top of the teeth, you can see where some of that brown paint ran onto the skull. But still, this head sculpt looks amazing. If you add the top hat from the Carfax Abbey Dracula figure to this, it almost looks like an entirely new figure. So yeah, you do have some options with that. I really dig how this looks. This looks really cool. And finally, he comes with his broken mask head sculpt. And again, this looks really good. He does have side eyes. It's kind of weird that he's looking to this side. I would have preferred his eyes to be centered. But it still looks really cool, because with the broken mask, you can see the exposed skin underneath with boils and burns. You can see his jagged teeth. That looks really good. And it has a really cool gloss coating over top of it, making it look really slimy. He has that continued texturing and paint even on his neck. So yeah, Neca did an amazing job on these head sculpts. Like I said, these are definitely the most intense head sculpts that Neca has done for this line. And it looks really good. Again, you get some strands of hair hanging over the mask there. That just looks amazing. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the figure. I like how on his top half he has a suit, and it looks really good. It's textured very nicely. The button-up shirt underneath there has a nice brown wash over it, making it look very dirty. The buttons are painted in a very nice silver. And then you get to the bottom here, and his pants are more reminiscent of a hockey player. And it has some really good texturing to it and some nice blue paint. That really surprised me, but you can see that nice blue paint there. He has his knee pads. I think they're cast in brown. They have this color painted over top of them, but that still looks really good. You can see the socks have holes in them. And they have a black wash. I think it also has some brown paint over top of it as well. That looks really good. Neca did a really awesome job with that. You can see that underneath the holes in the socks, it's just painted the same color as the socks. So I don't know if that's meant to be his skin or that's just a mess up right there, because on this side it's the same color as well, so that's a little odd. And here you can see his shoes. Sculpted very nicely with the laces there, and you even get painted soles on the bottom there in silver. That looks really good. If anyone is wondering, here is the back of the figure. Kind of weird that on the left side there's no paint at all on the back of the leg there. And when you're moving this figure around, this is an overlay piece. You'll see that it kind of bunches up, which if you have the cloak on him, you won't see it. But that does bother me a little bit. I wish it would have been a little bit longer, that way you could tuck it in here. But once you move it around, it does come out. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. Despite having this long hair, he can actually look up a decent amount. He can't quite look up all the way, but he can look up more than I thought he'd be able to. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. And that is even with this hard plastic collar on. The cloak has a hard plastic collar and then it goes into the fabric. So even with this on, he still has some very nice articulation there in the head. He has shoulders that can move out all the way. He has single jointed elbows that can bend in all the way. But on the left side, if you look, the plastic kind of bunches up on mine there on the joint. I try not to move this one very much because you can see a little bit of scuffage right there. But it's only on this left side, so that is kind of weird. He has a swivel at the wrist that can move side to side and up and down. He has a ball-jointed waist and diaphragm. The diaphragm joint doesn't move that much, but the waist does move back. And then you'll get that tux coming out there, so you have to tuck that back in. And he can crunch forward very slightly. He can move side to side and around very nicely there. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward just about all the way. He can kick back just a little bit. He has a very nice thigh swivel, double jointed knees, swivel at the ankle that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a very nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to Leonardo as the Hunchback. Here he is next to Michelangelo as the Mummy. Here he is next to Raphael as Frankenstein. Here he is next to Donatello as the Invisible Man. Here he is next to Splinter as Van Helsing. Here he is next to April as the Bride of Frankenstein. And finally, here he is next to his normal movie self. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up. Neca did a phenomenal job on this figure. I actually think this is probably the best Neca Universal Monster TMNT crossover figure that we've got so far. I think this really is a creepy and eerie looking design. Neca did a really awesome job on this. I think it's really crazy that the coolest figure from this line is a non-turtle figure. But yeah, I just love everything about this figure. And this is definitely my favorite out of the line so far. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.